Hi, everyone. Welcome to the very first Student Zone session at Microsoft Build 2020. We're really excited to kick off 48 hours of content curated and created just for you. As a quick reminder, this is Microsoft's code of conduct for all of our digital events, specifically Build 2020 this year. And I'm really excited to introduce two people to you. One being me. Hi, my name is Sarah Guthels, and I'm one of your introductory hosts to the Student Zone this year at Build. And I'm also really excited to introduce to you Chloe.
Hello. I've got all my friends here.
I left all of my friends in the house with my toddler.
Well, I've got Misty here. I've got the Octocat here. I've got all my plushies here ready for an exciting build. I love build. Favorite time of year for me.
I love it. I love it. Chloe, can you introduce yourself a little bit to our student viewers?
Of course. Hey, everyone. I'm Chloe Condon. I'm a cloud advocate here at Microsoft, which means I get to teach and show people how to use really, really cool, amazing things using the cloud, stuff like DIY astrology and fun little buttons that you can do to use the cloud to make cool things. And I'm so excited for the Student Zone because I love students. I myself very much still feel like a student, but there's really nothing like a full day like we're having today that's all for students. I'm so excited to see all this cool make code stuff, all of the fun, exciting stuff just for student dev. So I work with students on the academic team, and now I get to do a whole day dedicated to student fun. And Sarah,
maybe like 2 days.
Yeah, a whole 2 days. Oh my gosh, it's all running. It's just like 124, 48-hour cycle for me.
I know. I basically just told my family, do not go on the internet. It's all mine. Just talk to me on Thursday.
Exactly. Well, are you giving a session Sarah, tell us about what you do here at Microsoft, and then I want to hear all about your session.
Definitely. So I am a principal program manager in our student developer team. And basically that means I just come up with ways that I think we can better support students across Microsoft. So I work with a team of people, including Chloe's team, on hackathons, on student content on Learn. If you saw the keynote earlier today, some folks on my team run the Imagine Cup competition. It's just really, really amazing. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm also very partial to students. I love teaching, especially students who are just getting into coding. I've written quite a few books on getting started with coding, from GitHub to Make Code to JavaScript, anything you can really think about. It's just my favorite thing. And this build, I get to be talking to you about machine learning, how to get started with Azure Machine Learning, even with no code, being able to take a data set and just come up with an answer to a question that you might have of it just with a few clicks on Azure. It's going to be a ton of fun. But honestly, I'm really excited about your session, Chloe. I'm wondering if maybe you can tell them a little bit about what you and April are going to do tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. So this is our second time doing the Student Zone at Build. And here's a hot secret. The Student Zone is where all the fun is. Don't tell the grown-ups, but it really is where all the fun is. And I say that because this is my friend Misty here. Misty is going to be doing a talk, just a little blink for y'all, with me and my BFF April. We're going to teach you cool, fun ways that you can actually program a robot and keep in touch with your friends from long distance. So I'm really excited to show all the cool stuff that Misty can do. I also, next to me here, just to further prove that students we have all the fun on the student side of things, I have my Make Code badge that I wear to almost every conference that I go to, and this is no exception. So I will be wearing this for some of my sessions when it's not bumping into my microphone. But this is a little Microsoft Make Code badge that I made that I wear when I go to conferences. It says, "Hi, I'm Chloe. I work at Microsoft." It's got this little smiley bear here. So there's all sorts of cool, fun, interesting, light up, beeping Minecraft things. I feel like we get to have all the fun over here. It's truly the coolest. The zone is the coolest part.
And is that Make Code badge built with the microbit?
Yes, it is. So this is a little microbit right here that plugs right into this. And what's really cool is this is just drag and drop code. I think I made this in maybe less than 20 minutes before a conference once. And I can actually program this to do all sorts of things. So I can have the words scroll across the screen, but there's also buttons here. If I can make a little like character move back and forth if I want to, I can do a fortune telling app. So I think I'm very new to the maker space, but things like MS Code, all of these different ways that you can kind of like just right out of the box, drag and drop and make your own little fun apps and projects. I love easy ways to get started. And that's really what the Student Zone is.
Yeah, the last time I checked, I think Make Code, there's a like a simulator inside of the browser. So even if you don't have that microbit device, you can still try it out, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's really, really cool. I've seen so many people use microbits to do cool things. So anything from little unicorn cars that you can control with a microbit, with another microbit, to things that light up and boop and beep. I know last year we had some really cool kind of hands-on projects in the zone that, could light up and turn different colors that Cassie and a bunch of folks who were speaking today got to do. And we have a lot of similar stuff like that today that you can do at home, all on your own, with things that you have around your home. Just like you said, drag and drop, do it right in the browser.
I love it. I love it. And that's one of my favorite things about being a student developer is you can start your journey with drag and drop things. You can start your journey with like no code. For example, InstaFluff, I don't know if you heard, but he's the comfiest live coder on Twitch / Mug Chef. And he's going to be doing a number of sessions here at Build. And one of them is a no code AI. And it's not a child version. It's not a novice version. It's literally just Microsoft's optional solution for building an AI to integrate into apps. What he's going to show off is his little buddy Sherman that he's got always on his screen with him, where he can ask questions like, tell me a joke or what's the weather. It's pretty great. And that's what I love about the development of new technologies and where we're going with, all of these services is that you can start without having to know how to program in 501 languages without having to have a huge dev setup at home. Just with a browser and an internet connection, you can really start to learn some of the cutting edge technologies, which is really awesome. Chloe, I'm wondering, what is something that you've just been really excited to learn recently? Is there like a service or a programming language or something that you've been trying out that's just been super fun?
Oh, yes. I have been playing a lot lately with the Microsoft Face API. I've used a lot of different Azure Cognitive Services in the past to do a bunch of fun projects, but in particular, the Face API is so fun. So if you're unfamiliar with what cognitive services are, there are a bunch of different services right out of the box that Azure uses for speech and language and detecting images and photos. And the Face API is super fun because it'll be able to detect, let's say it's me and Sarah and all my friends are in a photo. It'll give each of us a unique Face ID. So it's like I'm voguing here, little square. And then from there, you can detect emotion. You can detect, am I wearing glasses, facial hair? What are the people in this image feeling? What are they, you're able to take a lot from a face because faces are very, very expressive. So it's really fun to use this for putting your face in a hole, for kind of those little things at the fair that you see. You can put some cool glasses on yourself if you want to. You can put a crown on yourself. So playing with that has been super fun. And I really love sparkling water. So right now, I am working with identifying images to see how hydrated I am. So, I'll be working at my desk here and I have a bunch of cans over here. And I can actually use these images, take a photo, and determine how hydrated I am from an image. So things like the Face API and all of the different like image recognition that stuff that we have has been super fun to play with. And what I really hope happens today, we had a question in here that says, I'm a beginning developer, but not a student. Is it okay if I'm here? Oh my gosh, you are absolutely in the right place. Because if you're already a developer, we have all sorts of out-of-the-box things you can get started with. And if you're not a developer, this is going to be a really amazing opportunity to not only see projects that'll inspire you to see what you can build with code, but also how you can have fun with it. Like I said, the Student Zone is kind of the fun place. So if you're really looking for some inspiration on where to get started or how to get started, we'll have those resources for you too.
And that's actually one of my favorite things. I think one of my favorite and also least favorite questions is when somebody says, what's the best programming language? Because there's literally no answer to that. And the answer that I always give is the one that'll get the job done in the way that you need it to get done. You know, it might be a language, in any case, I'm not going to try to come up with some random anecdote here. But what I love about the Student Zone this year is that we've got a bunch of introductions to a ton of different languages. We've got introductions to C#, to JavaScript, to Rust. Like I said, we're doing some MakeCode, and that includes some Python and some JavaScript with the MakeCode environments. We've even got some introductions to Python with the cognitive services, which is similar to what Chloe was talking about with the Face API. So cognitive services are Microsoft's AI services that you can just plug and play with, make it really easy to include in your apps. So what I'm really excited about is, and what I love is to just learn the basics of as many languages as I can. So then that way, when I am faced with a problem or a project that I want to try to build, I can just pick the language that I think is best for that problem. And yeah, I'm just really excited about that. I don't know.
I think the really, really cool thing about technology is it's constantly changing. So I feel like in other industries, you know, you learn everything that you can and then you become an expert and you're done. But what's really exciting about working in tech is there's always new technologies. There's always new things to learn. So you can start out a Python and JavaScript developer and then move into mixed reality and virtual reality. There's really no one set path for folks who want to get into tech. And what makes me so excited about working with students in particular is seeing what they get started on and then seeing where that kind of wiggle noodle journey takes them in their technology journey. Because, you know, there's so many, you can work in game development, you can work in, we have so many different flavors and varieties that we're featuring at Build today. So I'm really excited to not only hear from the folks who already have, you know, a developer background and are already learning how to code, but maybe the folks who thought, I don't know, is this really for me? And then seeing all these great and wonderful examples and go, that's the thing that I want to do.
And what's great is that we've got 3 different panels this year that we're going to tell that we've got a lot of different folks to tell you about their journey. So we've got a former Microsoft intern panel. All of these folks are former Microsoft interns who are now full-time employees. They'll tell you a little bit about what they did on their internship, followed by what they do now. And you'll see that it's not always the exact same thing. We've got a what can you do at Microsoft panel, and that'll include some folks who started out as computer science majors in undergrad and are now producers in Turn 10 Studios, Microsoft's video game studios, which is just so awesome. And we also have a panel of folks who are current university students. They're actually part of our Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, and they are going to tell you a little bit about what it's like to participate in a hackathon, which, to be honest, almost every project I've ever done, whether it's in school or at a company, has been like a hackathon with that stress and that, grit and that persistence. And so everything that they'll have to tell you will definitely apply even beyond hackathons. Chloe, have you ever been to a hackathon, even if you weren't the one coding?
Oh my goodness. I have attended a couple hackathons as a judge or sort of as an overseer. 2 in particular that were really fun. I went to an all-girls hackathon here in the Bay Area that was really cool to see so many high school students who are way smarter than I am do really, really cool things. But I got to actually sneak in with my friend Helen to this amazing hackathon at Abbey Road Studios, if you can believe it. So that's where the Beatles recorded Abbey Road. And it was a music hackathon. So it was all music themed things. And it was so cool to see a room full of very, very smart engineers who also had this musicality to their background, developing really cool and interesting technology and tools to detect pitch and play drums on their own. So I of course have a background in musical theater, so my heart was all aflutter for music and tech meeting each other. And that's what makes me so excited about the Student Zone and a bunch of talks that are actually happening on the main track of Build as well. I'm looking at Twitter right here, and Jen Looper is doing a really, really cool session today. So this one is going to be a terrarium that you can make with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Definitely check that out. It looks so, 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 so cute.
That's awesome.
I'm a crafter. If you couldn't tell from my desk here, I love to make and craft and do a bunch of things. So anything that kind of puts those things together, like arts and crafts and coding, I really do feel like coding is a lot like arts and crafts. You get to like use all these different things and put them together and make a cool, product out of it.
And, I think that's a really, really important point, especially for whether you're a student or just a newcomer to coding. I think that's a really, really important point. Last year at Build, we had the student zone for the first time. This was still when Build was co-located over here in Seattle. And we brought 400 students to Build for free with their parents or through local schools. And one of those students, her name is Luann Murphy, came to Build. It was her first time. She was kind of interested in coding, but she was really interested in fashion and F1 racing, which is just a super neat combination. And she just had like a ton of fun. And over the course of the last year, she kept posting things on social media about the kinds of things she was working on. She kept in touch, and she let me know that this year she decided to take the AP Computer Science course because she was a high school student, and she aced the test, and she's just like absolutely amazing. And in fact, we decided to invite her this year to do a main Build talk with Scott Hanselman.
Wow.
So it's just really neat because what struck me about Luann was not that she was just interested in coding, which is awesome and cool in and of itself, but that she had other passions and she wanted to figure out ways that she could tie them together. And I don't want to give up too much, but she ended up being like a leader of a team for a NASA challenge at her school. And that's all I'm going to say. You should check out her session with Scott. There's going to be 3 versions of it, so it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, you're going to be able to catch it. But I really think, to Chloe's point, having these additional passions, whether they're arts and crafts, whether they're musical theater, whether they're fashion, whether they're education like me, you can always tie coding into those. And I think that's a really, really important thing and something that you'll see as a theme throughout the entire student zone.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I haven't even done a session with Scott Hanselman before, so that's a big feat for a student or new learner.
I agree.
So I have to share, I pulled all the fashion stops today. So I've got my programming earrings on today. I'm super prepared for Build. I have this little cursor here. On this side, I've got my floppy disk. Now, kids, I am a little bit older than the average student, but we used to have to use floppy disks before the cloud. So this is a little homage to back when I used to use computer games. What was your introduction to technology, Sarah, when you first got started?
I actually didn't get started until college. So prior to college, I could send an email. I could write a document on Word, and I could sometimes make a graph in Excel. Not consistently, not every time, but sometimes I could make a graph in Excel. And I started pre-med in college, and I loved the discovery and the creativity around like medicine and that industry. But I didn't love the memorization. I was very much more of a tinkerer and like let's just figure something out. Let's go and search stuff on the internet and try to find out how to do it and break it. And if you are pre-med, you kind of don't want to break things because people's lives are potentially at risk. So I discovered computer science and I took a course, and it just was fascinating. I didn't know what I was doing the entire quarter. I broke everything to the point where the tutors would come over and they would have the solution code next to my code, and they would say, "It looks exactly the same. I don't know why yours is broken." I don't know how I went from that to like writing books and teaching courses on computer science, but that just goes to show you that it's really just about practice. It's about persistence. It's about creativity. It's about that grit, and it's about community, because without that, I could have never done anything. And that's really what's behind Build, and especially the Student Zone, is creating a sense of community amongst student developers, all developers, new developers, everyone who wants to even be near the world of development. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. And I think this is a welcome space. I'm looking at the questions and comments here, and we have so many people who are here because they are Minecraft fans. We have here because they're fans of building cool and fun things. We've got a couple of robot fans, it seems, in the chat here. So there really is a flavor for everyone. We've got machine learning stuff. We've got if there's a thing that you like, we've got it covered here. We've got some really, really cool things going on today. I had a question in the chat about my Misty robot, how I built her. So I actually didn't build Misty, but I do write the code to make Misty do some really cool, fun things. You can check out April's Twitter at VoganCode to see Misty say a little greeting and hello with her. And I'll be sharing some fun stuff tomorrow. Did you know that you can actually make a robot dance and sing and do a whole little fun choreography thing for you? Well, you can.
That's awesome.
And we will show you tomorrow. So I used to tap dance and sing on stage. Now I code robots to do it. So I don't have to do as much work.
My only experience with that was when a demo during class failed, and it was a demo where we were having a bunny hop around a screen. And since it failed, I just stood in front of a 500-person class and hopped around. That's the closest to, like, dancing and things that I get.
Oh, man. So what kind of machine learning things are people going to be able to learn in your session, Sarah?
I'm really excited. What we're going to be talking a little bit about is Azure Machine Learning and Auto ML. And so if you don't know anything, don't worry. I'm pretty novice as well, but my partner in crime, Francesca, is an expert. And so we're going to be showing you how you can just take a data set, you can upload it to Azure ML, and then you can basically click a button and run Auto ML. And what that does is it guides you through a couple questions, but basically it'll run a bunch of machine learning algorithms on your data set, and it'll score them with accuracy. And then it'll tell you, this is the machine learning algorithm that gives you the most accurate score. And so this is something that, in the past, you'd have to have these machine learning experts running this by hand, maybe even creating the machine learning algorithms from scratch. And now with the power of Azure, you can just kind of try it out.
It's right out of the box.
It's going to be pretty amazing. I'm excited.
I think what's really, really cool about the Student Zone is there are a lot of technologies and different ways that you can build things. And I think there's this assumption in the industry that you have to be an expert to do XYZ. So when I hear machine learning, or I used to hear artificial intelligence, I was like, okay, artificial intelligence, I don't, that seems scary. I don't know if I can do that. But truly using different tools on Microsoft Learn, being able to walk through the documentation and tutorials, it's so easy to get started. And what's cool about the Student Zone is we're literally going, all right, here's the cool thing that we're going to do. Here's the code to go do it. So you can go and do it at home. I saw someone in the chat here saying that they always felt sort of intimidated, and they're also a very arts and craftsy kind of person, and they're so excited to dive in. I am so excited for you to dive in, because this is a great, great opportunity for people who maybe want to dip their toes into programming, or even some of us who are like, we've been doing Minecraft a long time. We can jump into that as well. So there's really a flavor and a shape and a size for everyone here. There's something fun and light up and sparkly, or Minecrafty, and I guess that would be brownie and greeny for people to get started with.
And I just wanted to mention that it's really important that you understand how to interact with us. So you all are doing a really amazing job chatting in the Q&A. Continue to do that with every single session that we have. So put in your chats, put in your questions. We have moderators for every single session, and we want to hear from you. So make sure that you're engaging in that way. And we also, for every single session, I just want to show this really quickly. For every single session, we're going to have a survey, and we really, really want to make sure that we are getting your feedback. This is an anonymous survey. We're not collecting any of your information, but we really want to make sure that we're getting your feedback so that when we continue to do this Student Zone, we're building content for you. So again, even if you're not a student, if you are finding this content valuable, or you're finding this content valuable, but you want to see something else, please just let us know in the survey. And then also we have a GitHub repository where for almost every single session as part of the Student Zone, we have ways to continue your learning. So you just head over to aka.ms/students@build, and that'll send you to a public GitHub repo where you'll be able to find all of the links for any kind of further learning. So make sure that you're continuing to engage with us throughout.
And I had a question here that said that someone is a little lost with getting started with Azure. And my recommendation that I put in the chat as well, The Microsoft Learn website is great and it's free, y'all. You can learn anything Azure related. So many things are on there to just get started. You don't need any previous experience. I taught myself a machine learning course in about 20 minutes last week. I had never touched that technology before. So I would say check out Microsoft Learn for all of the cool modules. This is our little docs mascot that we've got here. Those are a great starting point. I use those all the time for myself. And they're also, if you wake up one day and you think, today I want to play with chatbots, there's a Learn module for that. There's Learn modules for everything here at Microsoft, and it's a really, really wonderful, easy way to get started. Here we go. Here's the great, wonderful website for it. We've got Azure Fundamentals. That would be a great one for the person in chat looking for where to get started with Azure. All sorts of shapes and sizes. And what's really cool is you get points for completing the different ones. And I don't know about you, but I am a very points driven person. So anytime I complete one of these, I get XP for it. And then I get endorphins from it and I keep doing them. So be careful. It's a dangerous path because you'll want to do more and more and more Microsoft Learn modules. But definitely a great, great place to get started. You can search by the technology. You can filter it down to maybe you only want to learn about data engineering or you only want to learn, about AI. You can refine your search in there, and it's a really great getting started point. And also if you're more advanced and you want to dive deeper into these concepts, a great place to go to for that as well.
It's true. And I did want to reserve a little bit of time for us for some Q&A. So Chloe and I are going to jump in, and I think we've got some folks on the line if they want to say something out loud. But we'll also just kind of browse through the chat and answer some questions. Yes, you can watch these videos later. So all of these videos will be recorded, and where and when and how, we're still trying to figure all of that out, but you will be able to watch all of the Student Zone sessions at a later time.
I didn't want to have to stay up all night and all morning. There's a lot of content.
There is, and I might be staying up for a lot of it, but it's true. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go there.
Sarah and Chloe, we have a question from Henrique, who's wondering if it's possible to learn machine learning for someone who just recently started programming, or is it too complex?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely possible. So a couple of things: come to our machine learning session later or watch it afterwards. But yes, if you search on your favorite browser for Azure Machine Learning, there's a ton of getting started docs. And again, a lot of them are no code. So the new Azure Machine Learning Studio, all inside of the browser. There's a ton of tutorials for how to get started with sample data sets, with exactly what you need to write or exactly what you need to click so that you can start to learn. And in just a couple of weeks, Francesca and I are actually going to be releasing a video series on how to get started with machine learning if you don't know anything. So definitely look out for that as well.
And if you're looking for a super, super easy intro way to get started, Q&A Maker is a really awesome way to just build a chatbot, literally with an FAQ, like a PDF of an FAQ that you upload, and it kind of breaks down those concepts. So I would recommend even getting started with a Q&A Maker chatbot. That could be a good kind of entry level into machine learning.
Definitely.
We have another question from Jay, who's going to be entering high school this fall and was wondering if either of you had any advice on how to get involved in hackathons, what kind of courses to take.
Yeah, I would say, like I mentioned earlier, getting involved in tech is very much a choose your own adventure. There's so many options. So your school may have a robotics club, or maybe they have a hardware hacking club. I would say go where your heart tells you to go. Whatever you are most interested in, you have all the time in the world to learn all these things, but learn what makes you excited and passionate about what you want to do in technology. So there's really, it's like Sarah mentioned earlier, there's no one flavor or one size fits all. There's so many paths. So I would say go work on the things that make you excited.
I completely agree. And when it comes to hackathons, a lot of schools hold hackathons. You can find some digital hackathons nowadays. Major League Hacks, MLH, is a great place to find any local hackathons around your area. And the biggest piece of advice I have for hackathons is to just try. Like, there's no way that you can fail because you will learn something. And that is literally the point of a hackathon. So just try it out, get together. If you don't know anyone, there's usually a time before hackathons where they do kind of a meet and greet for people looking for teams. Convince your friends to join with you because it's just a good, fun time of trying and seeing what happens.
Yeah, hackathons are less scary with buddies. So if you can bring a mentor or a friend or someone to do it with you, then you can do that together. And I will say hackathons are kind of exhausting, especially if you're there in person, but even if they're at home, a 24-hour event where you get something done, but you learn so much in that short amount of time. So definitely grab your buddies, maybe even someone who's never programmed before. I think that getting insight from folks who are technical or non-technical, you can definitely make some cool, amazing projects that can help people all over the world. So I always get so excited to see what comes out of hackathons because I feel that's where the cool stuff comes out.
Same. And we're at time for our session. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. In the Q&A, I have published an announcement with the link to our survey and the code for this session, as well as the link to the GitHub repo. So please make sure that you check that out. Please make sure that you fill out the survey just so that we can make sure we're bringing you the best content that you care about. And thank you so much for spending the last half an hour with us and hopefully the next 48 hours with us. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Misty and I will see you later, and all my friends here on my desk will all see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.